This is Will from Running Injury Free Revolution. Here we have a recent client who, through in the space of 1 hour, went from being a runner that ran quite upright and straight to having, by the end of the session, beautiful alignment with her head in front of her shoulders, shoulders in front of her hips, hips in front of knees, and knees in front of her feet. We want to look for that because by the end of the session she was creating movement high from the chest with an increased lever arm instead of at the start when movement was only created using power from the waist down. So what we saw at the start was this: her hips here, her feet were being swung forwards because she wasn't creating that movement using her upper body. When her leg was swung forwards, we found that she was making contact with the heel. Because the heel cannot absorb that pressure effectively, this pressure was riding up through her body and had resulted in a stress fracture at the hip. So what did we change through the session? We looked at landing with her feet behind her hips, which you'll see here. Initial contact is made almost level, with the main point of loading occurring just behind. We ensured that she was landing in the midfoot, in the arch, to absorb that pressure. Contact was made behind the hips instead of almost level with the hips, because at the start pressure was riding up directly through her body because of the alignment of center of gravity. However, because at the end contact was made behind her hips, this was being absorbed, so it wasn't going up and riding through the body to the knees and the hip as it was in the earlier instance. We also find, just simply from a running perspective, that her movement efficiency had increased. She was picking up her rib cage and her chest. Movement was being created higher, and she wasn't having to work hard to create that movement. Because she was creating that movement using her upper body, her legs were swinging back naturally, whereas what we saw at the start was her pushing using her calf and then a trail of the leg. So that's what 1 hour of work can do. Just simply looking at the way in which we move and changing to make it more efficient and thus reducing the chances of injury and the impact upon the body. Cheers guys, and this is just one example of the work we do here at Rifrev.